we look at you?
What's your name?
My name is Desiree.
My name is Michael.
How did you guys meet?
At church.
At the Rock Church.
At the Rock Church.
How long have you guys been together?
Officially as a couple, a little over a year. Who said I love you first?
I'm pretty sure you did.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
And it was through a text message. Yes.
It was through a text message.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason for that.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. You said I love you in person to me, and then I said it back to you.
Yeah, it was at church.
At church, in the hallway. And then he hugged me, and then I was walking away. I was like, oh my God, he just told me he loved me.
What's one thing you would change about me?
Oh,
Here we
man.
go.
Oh, jeez. Sometimes you do not pay attention. So I could be talking to you, and then you're like, oh, yeah. So then you get on your phone, or you get distracted by, like, somebody else walking by. Yeah. Like other humans. And then we lose track of where we're at because you're not paying attention.
Random humans?
Yeah. No? You don't do that?
I mean, I know I'm a little ADD sometimes, but
Yeah.
I'll be thinking about other things that I have in my head, other ideas.
Yeah, so I would change that and just have you be, like, focused.
Maybe not. Maybe sometimes when I am honest with you about certain things, that you don't take them too hard. Like, that you don't, like, take them too literally, and then you...
And then I agree.
And then you get a little emotional.
Oh. Yes, I do get emotional.
Yeah.
That's true.
Have you ever been scared about our future? If so, why?
I think, like, what if you, like, find out one day that this is not what you want, and then you just run, or you leave, and then I'm just by myself without you, because maybe, like, the next best thing will come along, or something else that you want to fight for comes along, and then you pursue that, and then I'm like, wait a minute. Where did Michael go? That's, like, my biggest fear. But I expressed that to you lately.
Well, I think the hardest part has already come, and I think I've shown you that I'm not going to leave, so...
Yes.
Just encourage you with that.
I know, but it's the fear, right?
Yeah.
I think it's the fear of, like, you walking away from all of this one day.
I think for me, one of the fears that I have is not being able to lead you well. And sometimes I think that's the easiest way out, is just to say, I don't want to do this anymore. So I think that's been my fear, especially given this past year, the things we've gone through and the challenges we've had. Like, sometimes in those moments where we have struggles and we ask ourselves, are we going to be able to do this? Like, one of the things I ask myself is, like, am I going to be able to lead her well and point her back to Jesus? What have I done to make you feel safe?
So, it's funny that we just talked about the not emotional thing. But when I am emotional, or when we are going through times, you have been such, like, a constant force of, like, calmness and just consistency, as I've expressed to you before, where it doesn't matter usually. Well, now I know it does matter, but usually it doesn't matter that I'm getting emotional or that I'm crying or that I'm angry or whatever. Like, I know and I see that your intent is just to be there for me. So you've created this, like, safe space for me to just be who I am and just be feeling whatever I'm feeling in that moment, because you're like, I love you regardless. So yeah, that's made me feel really safe, because most of the time it's judgment, or it's people telling me, like, why are you this way, or why are you that way? It's like, no, like, I know that you're that way, and I'm gonna love you through it. So that's made me feel really safe.
For me, it's just goes back to the words of affirmation. When you affirm me, for example, like this week, just to give context, she bought me 5 cards for each day of the week, and she affirmed me with words and a Bible verse, and saying how I'm amazing and I'm strong and all these things, and that really brings safety to me, because when I'm not feeling that way, especially in the morning when I wake up or whatever, and I'm feeling attacked by the enemy, she always has a way to just bring it back to Christ and remind me of Christ's love. So that makes me feel safe as a man.
Yeah.
How do you know I love you?
The biggest way that I know that you love me is because you have extended grace and care and affection towards me the way that I believe God has, God has done. And like he has, I've seen more of the Lord through you. So for me, that's like the greatest expression of love, is being able to take the Lord's heart and impress that upon me. And I think that you've done that really well.
I think to give one big reason, I think you have kind of the same lines that you just said right now, have shown me what God thinks of me through your actions and through the way that you affirm me and the way you support me and have my back. And when I'm being difficult, or when I forget about the Lord and start acting out from my flesh as opposed to like from the Spirit of God and the love of God, you always just, it's like you kind of like flip me around, and you're like, you always remember to tell me that nothing matters but the Jesus, and that I have to be more like him, and that my character should reflect his character. So I think that's how I know that you love me, because that's one of the things that I've prayed for in a woman. When was the moment you knew I was the one?
Oh, man. Seriously, the first moment that I knew you were the one was the moment that you talked to me that day, and you told me that you wanted to pursue me. I knew it. Like, my heart dropped. Like, and I was like, no way. Because you had did all these things that I had prayed for years, and then you did them without me even communicating them to you, or you communicating to other people. And when you met with me, and then you told me that you wanted to pursue me beyond friendship, and that you were called to love me regardless of my response, like, I knew it in that second. I was like, yeah, this is my guy.
The moment when I knew you were the one for me was probably prior to me speaking with your dad about me pursuing you. And the reason that was because I was just watching you for, the past year that we've been going to church together. And the first thing that attracted to me was the way you served your family. And I love the way you served your family, and then the way you served in ministry and served different people. And that's what I think drew me to you. So I had been praying for God to show me if you were the person that he wanted me to pursue. And he did. He showed me all these things about you, and I think I don't recall the moment when I said she's the one, but I think it was a little prior to me speaking with your dad about it. And that was when I decided to pursue it. Thank you, Jesus.